Hey guys, this is your host Eric. Today we are going to watch sci-fi genre movie called Old. Spoilers ahead, turn on your subtitle, I greatly appreciate your support. Enjoy the video. The story begins with Frisco, Trent, and Maddox, who are going on a tropical vacation to Paradise Hall Island. The island appears to be ideal. The resort manager greets the family, and they are then served complimentary cocktails at the welcoming party for the guests. Trent also meets Idlib, a local boy who appears to know something about the island at night. We discovered that the family is not in good health. Guy and Prisco wants a divorce, so this is their last family vacation with their children. PRCA, on the other hand, has been suffering from a disease in her body for some time. The family is approached by the resort manager during breakfast and offered the opportunity to visit a secluded beach on the nature preserve side of the island for a day to avoid crowds. Patricia, a middle-aged woman, collapses and begins to have a seizure. Jaren, his boyfriend, is a nurse, and a guy named Charles, who appears to be a doctor, rushes over to assist the doctor and his family, which includes Crystal. Agnes and Kara are also invited, and the group finally arrives at the secluded beach's entrance, where they must walk a short distance. When we arrive at the beach's main attraction, we notice that it has a very beautiful view, but it is surrounded by a steep stone wall, which is quiet. At the beach Sudan, the group meets a mysterious traveler who appears to be a famous rapper while playing around. When Maddox and Trent discover rusted knives and abandoned toys, Brisket tells them to leave and ignore them. Tragic events occur. The vacation of the group. When a drowned body is discovered, it is discovered to be Bean's missing girlfriend, who went swimming before the group arrived. The incident perplexes the group, and Charles accuses Sudan of murdering his own girlfriend. He is being charged as a result of his constant nose bleeding. Jaren and Patricia arrive at the beach a few moments later, and the group informs them of the situation. The group is adamant that they want to return to. When Charles tries to explore the cave, he becomes dizzy and knocked out, indicating that they will be unable to return to the path they used to enter. Charles's mother suddenly stops breathing and dies for no apparent reason shortly after that. Things start to get weirder. As Frisco approaches Charles, she expresses concern about her children and begs him to examine them. It turns out that Maddox and Kara's age suddenly jumps about 5 years in a couple of years. Sudan tries to flee and is pursued by Charles. But as soon as they enter the cave, they pass out and are thrown back to the beach. As a result, the group realizes there is no way to escape through the cave. The doctor attacks Sudan at random with a knife, but magic happens and the wound heals instantly. Jaren suggests swimming against the currents until they reach another shore. However, no one agrees on the plans. Nobody wants to put their life in danger. The group then holds a meeting to resolve the situation. Patricia believes the children are reacting to viruses. That is why they are rapidly expanding. Prisca and Guy inform the group that Prisca has a benign tumor inside his body. She explains that it's supposed to be about 3 centimeters long. But Jaren says it's about the size of a softball. Frisco collapses unexpectedly, and Jaren discovers that the tumor is still growing. We now know that going to the beach not only affects their age, but also their physical condition, particularly disease progression. As a result, Charles will perform the surgery in order to save her life. The group recalls that a wound will be healed instantly. After some time, they were able to remove the tumor from her stomach, and Frisco was able to awaken. Then Sudan examines her girlfriend's body, only to discover that her body has completely decomposed in only 3 hours, which is unusually quick. Jaren explains that the beach affects their cells, causing their hair and nails to grow slower. Inherited nails have died. Sudan also reveals that 60 minutes on that beach equals 2 years old. As a result, everyone will age in less than 50 minutes. Another tragedy occurs when Trent and Kara are having fun together at the tent, resulting in Kara giving birth quickly. However, due to the beach's rapid aging effect, the baby must die. When Charles's worsening schizophrenia causes him to kill Sudan, brutally out of time, the situation worsens. Jaren claims to have been on the swim team and offers himself desperately to swim across the sea in the hope of finding. Guy then realizes that they were chosen to go to the beach on purpose because they all have a similarity, which is that they all have medical records later on while swimming. Maddox accidentally discovers Jaren's dead body on the other side, presumably drowning. Kara climbs the massive stone wall, hoping to find answers on the other side, but she becomes unconscious and falls to her death. Patricia suffers from epilepsy and dies instantly as the tragic event continues. PRSA and Guy begin to feel the physical effects of the beach as she struggles to hear voices out of her left ear and Guy begins to lose his sight. Crystal also perishes as a result of hypocalcemia. Maddox and Trent discover a notebook from the previous traveler among the chaos of the group attempting to flee the beach. Trent also notices a camera at the peak of the mountain, indicating that they are being watched all the time. Charles goes insane and attacks PRCA and the guy, but PRCA manages to pick up the rusted knife from the previous scene and stabs Charles, causing him to die from tetanus. Priska, Guy, Trent, and Maddox are the only survivors so far. As the night draws to a close, an elderly man in Frisco makes amends before passing away, with only Maddox and Trenton, who are now adults. Trent realizes the next morning that Idlib sent him a message that he had not read. The message indicates that an underwater coral passage exists. They begin to swim through the coral, believing that it will allow them to leave the beach without losing consciousness. Unfortunately, Maddox's dress becomes entangled in a coral, and they struggle to escape the water after failing to emerge from it. A resort employee who is keeping an eye on them reports that the entire group has died. It has been revealed that the resort is being used by a research team from Warren Pharmaceutical, to conduct clinical trials of new medical drugs, with their guests suffering from medical conditions acting as unwitting test subjects. Because the beach naturally accelerates the aging of its visitors, the researchers were able to complete drug lifetime trials in just one day. One of the researchers explains that they recently prevented epilepsy in Patricia by administering medication. Patricia, who had suffered from debilitating seizures her entire life, managed to avoid an epilepsy seizure for about 8 hours and 17 minutes at the beach, or about 16 and a half years in the real world. Following that incident, the manager begins to greet the new group of guests, but is unexpectedly interrupted by the arrival of Trent and Maddox, who survived their underwater adventure. Using the notebook as evidence of several missing guests, the couple is able to bring the police to the resort. Trent and Maddox moved in with Arian after the researchers were apprehended. The plot twist of this film is revealed at the very end. The resort is a sham for Warren Pharmaceuticals. The hotel manager is the leader of a team of researchers who have been serving cocktails that are actually experimental drugs to guests with physical medical diagnoses. Frika, Charles, Patricia, and Sudan were chosen specifically for their beach ailments. The scientists could track their health and how the drugs worked over time. The experiments themselves are relatively new, but with the group of people sent to the beach in the film labeled Trial 73, this indicates the 73rd time the tests have been conducted, which in the beach's unique aging effect is roughly over 2. We really appreciate you watching. If you enjoy this video, please give it a like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel with the notification bell because it is really important for us. Thank you.